How many of you have gone through the winter and your bees are surviving and you think you're good? You get to the end of February and you go into March and you open up your beehive and your bees look like this. How disturbing, disappointing. You thought you were safe. You thought you were good. But in fact, most bees do not die in the winter. They die in early spring. Why? What's the number one killer? How? And how to prevent it. Let's get right into it today. We have so much to talk about. My name is Alex Line. Let me show you how you can have your bees surviving and thriving and preparing for the first flow. Something that's always grabbed my attention is that bees can still starve out in the spring, even if their colony is full of honey. And this is how you get into early spring and the temperatures start warming up, and so the cluster starts opening up a little bit and starts consuming. Say this plate is the cluster. The bees start opening up and consuming the honey in this frame, and they move around. Then all of a sudden you get a cold blast, and it stays around for a week or so, and then your cluster is this size. And so what happens is the bees consume all the energy and it is too cold. If the cluster is not big enough and your colony is not big enough this time of year, then the bees will sit there without any resources, and within a couple of days they're dead because they haven't been able to find the honey within the cluster, and it's too cold to move around. So how can we prevent this? We get a candy board or a sugar brick and we put it on top of the frames, and that will draw the bees up against the sugar brick or candy board, and then they can consume that during the cold snap. And that could be all the difference. Listen, you can go to Aldi's and probably get I can here in Indiana, get a 4-pound bag of sugar for $1 or $2.75. That could be all the difference in your bees' survival in early spring. These bees are raising brood, and so they need the pollen to feed the brood this time of year. The queen needs to be encouraged to lay eggs and to give all the support that she needs right now, so that we can get as much bees coming on for the first flow coming on this spring. So we're about in the middle of February, and the bees are now beginning to start rearing brood. Brood means the bees are going to start needing extra energy, more honey, more resources to feed them, to keep them warm, so that they can start developing properly. And at the same time, the winter bees of physiology are starting to die off day by day. Your bees are dying every day. And at this point, we don't have those replacement bees. In the spring, bees are populating faster than they're dying. In the winter, it's backwards. They're dying faster than they're populating. So if we get a cold snap, it could be catastrophic. And we've got to keep all these things in our minds. We've got to understand the biological system, what's going on inside that beehive, and what it takes for those bees to thrive. Throw a little pollen patty on there. So before I go any further, I just started this YouTube channel this week, and I'm not stopping here. I got so many videos to make. Will you please drop a comment down below, and tell me what video that you want to watch. Please hit that subscribe button. It would make the world to me. I would appreciate it so much. So there's 3 main things that has killed your bees in the spring, or early spring, late winter. Moisture, number 1. Mites, number 2. And number 3 is fall preparation. So the mites, as soon as that cluster breaks open, it gets warm enough, the cluster breaks, hit them with oxalic acid. And number 2, sugar board helps soak up the moisture. Make a dry sugar board for the moisture. If you want me to show you how I make a dry sugar board, which soaks up the excess moisture in the beehive, and by doing so, it helps to feed the bees, drop a comment below. I will make a next video of that. So, and number 3 is fall management. And unfortunately, right now, it's a little too late to deal with that. But we have to feed our bees in the fall. when it's possibly, most likely always is, dry in late fall, and to encourage those bees to raise the bees of physiology. So even though it's too late to fix what we did last fall, we can still give it our best shot now by leaving the sugar bricks and the candy boards on the colony until it gets consistently above 50 degrees, and then we can start giving them 1-to-1 sugar water. And this will continue to stimulate the brood better. We can get brood patterns looking really sharp and clean, keep the pollen patties on there until we know the flow is really kicking off, and then we don't have to do that or refocus on that so much. But until then, we've got to make sure we keep this up so that we do have a good, thriving colony by the time the spring flow kicks off strong. If you're still watching, you're not going to regret it. You're going to want to subscribe. I have a video coming out soon that talks about how I turned a nuke that I got last spring to draw out 2 super boxes from wax foundation to drawn comb like this. And then I did that, and then I was able to get them to draw out a super box about 70% from wax foundation to drawn comb. Then get this, produced 90 pounds of honey in 1 year. That is double what's on this counter. On this counter, there's 45 pounds of honey. So I got 2 of these and then was able to build them up strong enough to go into winter. And they're still alive today, and I'm so thankful. Thank you for watching.